In this ride, we'll be experiencing more of the Ortega Highway, especially more mountainous areas with lots of curves and changing elevations. The ride ends at the Ortega Cafe, which has an overlook toward Palm Springs and Lake Elsinore. Here are some questions to consider. What is the difference between a reverse turn and a reverse curve? When negotiating a curve and initiating or adjusting lean, is countersteering easier if a rider presses on the hand grip in the direction of the curve or pulls on the opposite hand grip? Uphill grade now, so maintain my speed, nice and smooth. Not much to see on the right and left sides there. It's going to come out quick. A lot of flowers there. Somebody must have had a mishap there not too long ago. So middle is good for this type of riding. That way I can adjust my lane position as needed for things on the right, factors on the right or left. Kind of a blind turn here, so I'm taking it easy. Maybe ease to the right edge of the lane just a bit instead of staying right in the middle. But I do want to be in position where they can kind of see me, so maybe a little left to center here. Give them an advantage of seeing me too. There's a 30-mile-per-hour reverse curves. Yeah, those cars coming around those curves to their right, it always can be additional factors. They might come over the center line. So I'm open here. I'm moving the left third of the lane. So I meander back and forth here. Can still stop in the distance I can see ahead. Of course, if somebody's oncoming, that would be different. I'd have to certainly get in the right shoulder area. That's why I at least like a little bit over there. There's reverse turns, 30 miles per hour. Another blind curve coming up. I'll sit up a little bit on the outside. See if this is a longer curve. I have to hold the input a bit. I do like, you press right to go right, press left to go left. I like to do both. I like to pull on the opposite side, especially in roads like this. Feel like I have a little bit more control instead of just pressing. So it's more of a press on one side, pull on the other. Like right now in that 30-mile-an-hour turn, I'll push the right hand grip, pull back a little bit on the left at the same time, and balance pressure, nothing dramatic. Everything you want to be smooth. Now we're a bit on an uphill grade here. I see another turn off. Traffic behind is kind of lightened up a bit, so we're doing pretty good. Still doing about 45 to 50 miles per hour, where the openings allow that. There's some fallen rock on the shoulder. Here we have a guardrail, kind of blocks it into a bridge type abutment. Move to the right here, got plenty of room. 35-mile-an-hour curve to the left. Good place to check traffic behind is on a straightaway like this. I can see back there probably a good half mile now and see that everything's just fine. Nobody's pushing or following too closely, doing things risky that might create an issue for me. Here we go, curve to the right. I'm moving to the right side because of the oncoming traffic. Slow a bit, looks like a bit of a sharper curve here. Middle, right for this one. Holding steady, not really rolling on or increasing speed, just holding a steady maintenance throttle. People usually call that. You want to keep it smooth, keep the suspension stabilized, got plenty of travel, but keep it in that middle range, and if you do have to accelerate quick or brake quick, you have some travel, and it helps keep everything smooth and predictable. See some slide off the cliff there, little nuggets of dirt. Turn off on the other side. Okay, still traffic is back there, but nice big long following distances for them, so nobody's wanting to push, so I won't use a turn off. Here we got a 30-mile-an-hour, looks like a pretty strong turn, so middle, nice and open, got space on the right if I need it, hold my position, hold it some more, yeah, nice. It's usually the curves like this are constant radius, means once you establish a good input, you can hold that. If you turn too much or press too much, you kind of have multiple apexes and you'd rather just make it a nice smooth turn. Nothing wrong with having more than one apex, especially when you got traffic coming in and want to make a lane adjustment. Of course, on a racetrack, it's a bit different. You can just pick your line and you have one that gets through there fast. Here, we're more about time and space safety margins. Another right curve going up a bit of a hill here. I can see through it fairly well. check our headlights, we want to. Now we're moving out of Orange County into Riverside County. Still a reminder about turnouts and slower traffic, so notice the signs as we go by them. More interested now in traffic and lane position and curves and fallen rock. Read the terrain, although signs usually give you an early warning sign of what might be coming up. Like here's a reverse curve, recommended speed of 30. That's an advisory speed. It's pretty conservative for a car, probably for somebody who can handle a motorcycle well. Oh, 11 miles of curves. All right, this could be good. We like that. So I'm going to stay in the middle here, maybe just a little bit left of center, as I see there's some lane bumps there, some lack of smooth lane in the middle of this lane. So I'm going to back down just a little bit. It's not as wide, not as well maintained. Curves seem a bit sharper and abrupt. But I'm smooth. I'm doing right at 40 miles per hour right now. Staying middle, nothing oncoming. Got a bit of an escape to the right if I need it. Only need to go left if there's a falling rock or something, or an animal. Well, if it's a small animal, I'd probably hit it, because if I'm a lot bigger than it is. If it's a big animal, no, don't think so. That's when I'd probably brake and swerve, or swerve and brake. Just not do too much of either one at the same time, because produces a skid if you try to brake and swerve aggressively at the same time. So it's aggressive swerve, lighter brake, or aggressive braking, lighter swerve if you're going to try to do both at the same time. Here's some more skid marks. See how quick those vehicles appear around the corner there. Here's kind of a chicane here. Oh, we got pedestrians thrown in the mix up here. Maybe there's a campground or something. Looking good behind still, skid marks, so people probably had something happen here. Some of the pull-offs are gravel, I noticed. Some of them are paved. I think people coming out of a gravel one might spin a little bit and take longer than what they might think to pull out. Maybe that's what caused somebody to brake hard enough to produce a skid. So I've slowed here, staying right of center just a bit because of oncoming traffic. I can still straighten and brake a bit, or brake while I'm leaned over if I need to, as long as I don't brake too much and produce a skid. I do have anti-lock brakes if I do make some kind of over-braking error. Always nice to have on reserve if you do make a mistake or over-brake with the lever. Now we got some shading moving in here with the angle of the sun. Could hide debris on the road. Could hide you from other vehicles if you're in the shady area. That's why it's nice to have the headlight on here. Now we've got a nice sweeping curve to the left. 30 mile per hour recommended. I'm going to go down a gear here because it is slightly uphill. And it is sharp. Well, not considered a sharp curve, it's a long sweeping curve. Steady radius it looks like. So I can maintain middle here, ready to go to the right if I need to, if somebody's over the center line. And I come out of it going back to the middle. Probably set up outside here just so people can see me and I can see around the curve. It's more about them seeing me, because I'm going to go a speed I can stop at this I can see ahead no matter what my lane position is going in. And of course that's what a good entry speed is. A good entry speed allows you to accelerate through the turn if you wanted to. So it's a pretty conservative entry speed that gives you an advantage when you're taking curves, not to go in aggressively at all. And then you don't need to use your brakes in a curve, even for mild hazards that might occur. Oh, we got some intersections up here because of, looks like a store, so we'll back off a bit here. Stay on the right of center just a bit here, looking for traffic that might be pulling out from shopping. See, we've got a sharp turn to the right up here. So I'm going to slow for this one. I don't think I need to go down a gear, but I'm going to stay middle here. Narrow bridge. There's your chevron alignment sign. Side road on the right. A lot going on there. It might all happen at once, but right now nothing happened there, so that makes it nice and pleasant. Don't want to get overconfident about it though. So a little bit right of center for these oncoming vehicles. Another sharp U-turn type 30 mile per hour curve coming up here. We got two of them. So I guess they want to be sure you know that. There's a bit of a skid mark, so let's see where this one takes us. I'm going to stay in the middle here, looking through the turn, back to my path of travel, looking through the turn, moving my eyes near, far, left to right. Spend about 80% of the time looking at the curvature of the road, what's called the tangent point, where I can see the roadway and see the curvature of it. That gives me kind of a heads up, gives me 5 or 6 seconds to figure out if it's getting wider, opening up, or getting sharper, and I need to maybe slow a bit. Now we've got one back to the right side here. I'm going to stay middle, middle, middle. Gives me escape either side, slightly uphill here, a little more throttle just to maintain my speed. Yeah, this is a nice long one here. A little bit of a blind curve. Looking good though. Guardrail on the right. Still have an escape path though on the right side, should it become necessary. That one's got some gravel on it though, so I want to go, hopefully I won't have to go too far to the right. Restaurant areas, I'm just staying middle here and looking at that white truck back there, just making sure it's stationary and ready to go left if I needed to. Still 45 miles per hour. I'm doing about 43. A little bit of uphill now, grade, sweeper to the right. Like these fog lines on the right side there, they give you a nice lane marking. And of course on the right side of that, you do have some paved area that your motorcycle tires are fit in if you need to. So better stay on that unless you need to go more right, then it gets a little bit of debris. Now we're into some congestion uphill here. Looks like we're opening up a bit here now. I think we're getting near the Ortega overlook. We have a good look at Lake Elsinore possibly, and we're going to stop up here at a restaurant on the left side just to enjoy the ride. Yeah, this is the top of the Ortega highway because I can see on a downhill grade once we get up over the top of this hill. Here's a cafe ahead we'll pull into. I gotta watch for this vehicle coming out. Ooh, truck, I think I'll move the right a bit. Stayed over there nicely though. And we come to our cafe, so I'm gonna be making a left turn up here. So, flash the brake lights, signal light's been on. See if I can find a nice area. It's gravel, so I want to stay fairly upright. Not turn in right away. I gotta watch for oncoming traffic. I'm gonna wait. Looks a little bit bumpy going over that. So now I can make my way in. Gonna be a bump. Boop, boop. And let's move on up here. A little bit slick, but I'll take it easy. Ready to put my foot down if I need to, and just come on up and take a look. Let's take a moment to answer the questions we posed at the beginning. What is the difference between a reverse turn and a reverse curve? Reverse refers to a turn or curve that begins in one direction and ends toward the other direction. Compared to a reverse curve, a reverse turn has a smaller radius. Riders should slow much more for reverse turns. When negotiating a curve and initiating or adjusting lean, is countersteering easier if a rider presses on the hand grip in the direction of the curve or pulls on the opposite hand grip? Either procedure or a combination of both works. The rider should discover what particular technique works best for them.